To this day, the nature of consciousness remains one of humanity's greatest mysteries. We understand that brain activity and conscious experience are somehow interconnected, almost as if the brain itself generates consciousness. Yet we remain clueless as to why or how this happens. Some experts argue that we are simply too ignorant to truly grasp the essence of consciousness. Much like a monkey being unable to comprehend quantum physics. But the issue isn't all that complicated. For instance, could we decode a concept that we might have never fully understood in the first place? How could you define an apple if you've always pictured it as a banana? What I mean is, humans experience the world consciously. And your conscious experience of the world is your reality. The problem is, what you believe to be real might not actually be so. There was a time when people thought the earth was flat because it looked flat. Even today, many still hold this belief. Yet, we now know that the earth is spherical. A giant sphere so vast that even if you were to climb the highest mountain and gaze as far as your eyes could reach, it would still appear flat. To actually observe the earth's curvature, you'd need to stand at a height of at least 10.68 meters. We also once believed that the earth was the unmoving center of the universe, simply because it appeared that way. Copernicus and Galileo proved us wrong. Yet again, turns out, Earth has been spherical long before Pythagoras calculated it, and it was never the center of the universe. So, isn't it true that humanity has at least twice misunderstood the very nature of reality? The Earth was spherical before we figured it out, and it was never the center of the cosmos. This means humans have created a flawed version of reality in their consciousness and accepted it as truth for millennia. Foolish. At the same time, Galileo questioned the very nature of reality. He argued that taste and color exist only within our consciousness. Thus, if living beings were to vanish, all these qualities would simply cease to exist. Making sense in a way, Galileo believed that our lives unfold entirely in our minds. In other words, this world only exists as long as you are alive. The question then arises, could it be that you and I and all of us are terribly mistaken about our own reality? The answer might very well be yes. As you watch this video, billions of neurons and trillions of synapses are busy working because we experience the world primarily through our eyes. That's why about 1/3 of your cerebral cortex is devoted to this task. We often think of our eyes as a camera. That's why a Q&A video from VF once asked the question, what is the resolution of the human eye? We assume that when we open our eyes, we are simply viewing images or a video recording of the world in real time. This seems reasonable because the structure of the eye is similar to an old-fashioned camera, with a lens focusing images onto the back of the eye, where around 126 million photoreceptor cells are located. By logic, the human eye might seem like a 126 megapixel camera. However, if your eye were a camera, it would only capture what's physically there. But that's not exactly the case. There's no child wearing a green, blue, yellow, or red shirt in the picture you're looking at. I'm not even sure what color their shirts are. But in reality, it's a black and white image with color lines drawn in, and your brain fills in the rest. Here's another example proving that the visual system doesn't just record the world but also constructs its own version of it. You're seeing blue bars moving on a background of black dots. Right? Well, no. In fact, there are no blue bars. And no dots are moving. What's happening is the color of the dots is switching from blue to black. Or from black to blue. And when I do this quickly enough, your visual system creates glowing blue bars that appear to move. This is just one of countless optical illusions, showing that we're not merely recording but actively creating and constructing the world we see. But these are special cases. Most of the time, you see exactly what's physically there. Illusions only occur when the brain tries to fill in the gaps. And why does it do that? Scientists believe it's to reconstruct reality. And that's actually a good thing. From an evolutionary standpoint, we are descendants of those who had good vision and the ability to recreate reality effectively. Because those who didn't were naturally selected out of existence. So, evolutionarily speaking, vision is incredibly useful because it's highly accurate. Right? Not necessarily. An Australian beer company had to redesign its beer bottle to protect the Australian jewel beetle. It may sound completely unrelated, and the truth will likely leave you stunned. Here's the story. The Australian jewel beetle has a shiny brown shell with many small dents. The females can't fly and are twice the size of the males. And during mating season, the males fly off to find a hot female. By hot, they mean something shiny, brown, dented, and ideally, the bigger, the better, ironically. The bottle of an Australian beer called Sty has all those characteristics. Male jewel beetles are attracted to this hot, brown-skinned bottle. Dozens of male beetles swarm around the bottle. Trying to mate, they cling tightly to the glass bottle, not falling off even when you shake it. They extend their reproductive organs and attempt to penetrate the glass. Somehow, they lose all interest in the female beetles. After millions of years of evolution, and despite the fact that this isn't the only species that abandons females for beer bottles, the Australian Beer Company decided to redesign the bottle to prevent the beetle from going extinct. Scientists call this an evolutionary trap.